"Who is this man?" shouted by the audience in the ring. It turned out that he was the one who set the record for the fastest battle in history. With just one swing of his hand, the opponent was knocked down and fainted. With his unprecedented speed, he achieved victory in boxing history. Each time he fought, he rendered his opponent disabled. The boxing tournament with a total prize value of $5 million was also won by him. Is anyone enough to defeat this man? Please join the movie to find out. The story of the male lead, Tom, a new Marine. He has an alcoholic father who only knew how to beat his wife and children all day. Therefore, when Tom was young, he led his mother to flee. Not long after, she died. Then he applied to enlist and joined the war in South Vietnam. Because of that, he never forgave his father. Tom also has an older brother named Brandon. He is just a teacher and also a former MMA boxer. In the past, that brother did not keep his promise to take care of his mother and Tom, so Tom had to take care of everything for her alone. After 14 years, he has nothing in his hand. Their father quit alcohol and tried to persuade Tom to forgive him, but all those late apologies were in vain. The next day, Tom went to a boxing gym. Originally, he just wanted to fight a few battles to make a living, but at this time, he noticed the Sparta boxing tournament was about to be held, and its award was up to $5 million. Knowing that this was an opportunity to change his life, he practiced. When he saw a martial artist who was in need of a sparring partner, Tom offered to join, but was stopped by the coach, because the other boxer was the best here and was in the top 10 in the United States. Tom was a new person. The coach did not want him to be injured and advised him not to fight. But Tom still decided to fight and even bet $200 with the coach. He entered with a kick that surprised the opponent. Next was a series of attacks that made the ranked boxer unable to protest. Very quickly, he was knocked out by Tom. Everyone who witnessed it did not understand what was happening, and Tom told the coach he owed him $200. The next day, Tom went to find his father with the desire for him to help him practice for the upcoming tournament. But the two of them only carried out the practice. As for forgiveness, Tom still kept his view. Facing his son's inability to agree, the father also considered this an opportunity to make up for his son. Then he went to see the eldest son, Brandon. He told him that Tom had returned. But Brandon felt the same as his younger brother. Both hated their father. What the two brothers shared was probably not admitting they had such a father. Brandon didn't even want his children to meet their grandfather. Outside of class time, he also went to underground martial arts to earn extra income. With his peak experience and ability, Brandon easily defeated these amateur opponents. However, the amount was still not enough. The next day, the school discovered he went to the underground martial arts. They fired Brandon. Having not made enough money, he now also lost his job. At this point, he thought of a way to borrow from banks. But because he had no stable income, the bank would not lend to him. Then he went to a friend named Frank, hoping he could be his coach. But Frank was also very hesitant, because Brandon had retired for many years. He was too old to play, so Frank worried he would have a problem. But Brandon was very resolute, so his friend only agreed. Since then, the two brothers started to practice for the upcoming tournament, even though neither of them knew the other would join. But in this tournament, there was the appearance of a boxer named Koba. He was dubbed the strongest person in the world. Tom then also called his deceased friend's wife, because before the friend died on the battlefield, Tom promised to take care of his wife and children. This was also part of the reason why he participated in this tournament. Not long after that, they had to come to register. Here, the two brothers accidentally met each other. But the time apart had been too long. It was as if Tom no longer acknowledged this brother. Until that night, the two brothers had their first official meeting in 14 years. Brandon said he had regretted leaving his mother and Tom. He had searched for Tom for a long time after that, but did not see him. Now that the younger brother was still healthy, he was very happy. Brandon sent an apology for his previous actions. However, Tom's painful past could not be compensated for. He did not accept him like that. So Tom left, and made an appointment to resolve the conflict with Brandon on the stage. Finally, the tournament began. All the audience was looking forward to this moment. The atmosphere was hotter than ever. The opening match was Tom's match. All the audience and press knew nothing about Tom. They didn't even find a picture of him. He participated in the tournament thanks to the video of him defeating the ranked fighter in the gym. The match started. Having just entered less than 5 seconds, Tom threw a right punch and defeated the opponent. The audience was excited, and Tom coldly left the ring. Match 2 was Brandon's match. Before entering the match, the father encouraged his son. The teacher status he previously held had become something for others to despise him. Even the MC compared the gentle he was to a goldfish in a shark tank, and the opponent said he would definitely finish Brandon in 10 seconds. The match began. Brandon was at a disadvantage. He was pressed by the opponent and fell to the floor. Then the opponent took advantage, punching continuously into his neck. Then he locked Brandon, who could not move. The father watched and held his breath, nervous. Fortunately, at this moment the bell rang. Brandon escaped a visible defeat. The opponent was also very bitter. Entering the second round, the opponent constantly attacked to search for a submission victory. But after the break, Brandon seemed to be more awake. He found the opponent's loophole and knocked him down. After that, he locked the opponent. The father also knew that his son had done it. As expected, the opponent had to tap out. Although this was a struggling match, the result was still a victory for Brandon. In the next match was the Russian boxer Koba. With his outstanding strength, he did not have too much difficulty overwhelming the opponent. The referee had to stop the match, or the opponent would have been badly hurt. And the remaining pair was the match of the new cut. He also did not take too much time to win. So the first round ended. Round 2 also soon started. Brandon was in the first pair. Still with his signature chokehold, he achieved a second victory. With this victory, he completely smashed the audience's doubts. Immediately after that was the match of Warrior Tom. He was cheered by everyone as a rising star. Entering the match, still with that style, he attacked the opponent without giving him an opportunity to defend. The referee then had to pull him off. He coldly and frantically defeated his opponent, and the victory made the audience excited. They chanted his name throughout the stands. So ended the first night of the competition. Both Tom brothers won tickets to the semi-final. Tom returned to rest to prepare for the upcoming match. At this time, his father came. He said he was proud of this son. He tried to heal the feelings between the two people. But Tom was unable to accept this father anymore. Tom even threw the words directly in his father's face. That made him very sad. He left with his back filled with pain. Everyone has pain, even Tom. The person who suffered from the past pain turned it into deep hatred. Tom's father was formerly an alcoholic who often beat his wife and children. But after his wife died, he quit alcohol and became a normal person. However, at this time, only alcohol made him relieve everything. He drank to the point of losing all rationality. He angrily shouted in Tom's face. Seeing that this father was also suffering, Tom was completely defeated. He hugged and comforted him. That night, the semifinals took place. Everyone shouted to welcome Tom. Even his teammates from the army came to cheer and sing the victory song together. Tom's opponent in this match was the lip-cutting fighter. He was also confident. However, he still lost. When fighting, it was a destruction. Tom's punch landed on his face. Not long after, he fainted on the floor. A speedy victory caused the whole stand to explode. The younger brother had an easy victory, but Brandon met an extremely difficult opponent. His opponent was the Russian Koba. The boxer had very convincing victories before. The match started very fast. The first half saw the Russian attacking like a storm on Brandon, and he could not attack and lay still. At this moment, the first half ended. The second half was still the same as the previous half. He was thrown by the opponent like a bag and then punched until his eyes went dark. It seemed that Brandon was no longer able to fight. Everyone found this scene very worrying, and Brandon still refused to surrender. Finally, a difficult half had passed. The coach constantly encouraged him. If he did not win, the house would be no longer available. Thinking about the scene of his wife and children suffering, Brandon found additional power. Entering the third half, Koba still attacked bloodily. But now the situation began to reverse. Brandon had his first counterattack. He seems to have surpassed himself. He forced the opponent into the wall and then launched his attack. Then he started using his forte. Very quickly, Koba was locked by him on the floor. Plus the cheering of the audience, Brandon was even stronger. And Koba was in pain. Unable to withstand it, he had to signal his loss. To the cheers of the crowd, the Russian was finally defeated. Brandon, from an underdog, had now reached the last match. But his opponent was his younger brother Tom. In Tom's cheers, he was a Marine. After the death of his close teammate, he decided to go AWOL. Moreover, after this match, he would also be arrested by the army. But this was an extremely important match for the two brothers. Both people needed this money. One person needed money to cover family life, and the other person needed the money to donate to the wife of his deceased teammate. The news that the two of them were siblings surprised everyone, but the two of them still had to participate in this death battle. Under the shouting of the sky, both boxers came out. One with a speedy style, and the other was extremely calm. The question was, who would be the last to step out of the stage? The first half just started. Tom had continuously beaten his brother. Each blow seemed to want to take Brandon's life. As for Brandon, he could only defend himself. In the second half, Tom attacked more and more fiercely without love, causing Brandon to be cornered and suffer unbelievable attacks. But being punched too much made the flame fighting in Brandon burn again. The third half started with him countering his brother. Taking advantage of his martial arts forte, which no one had broken, Brandon locked Tom's arm on the floor. He forced the younger brother to accept losing, but it was not so easy. Tom got up and attacked aggressively. Brandon frantically broke his younger brother's arm, making Tom scream in pain. "Anyway, we are siblings," Brandon said, coming to ask about Tom's condition. But the response was the aggression of the younger brother. "Even if you want to win, unless you kill me." It was the tragic cruelty of hatred that pushed Tom into this path. In the next half, Tom could not attack anymore. Very quickly he was taken over by his brother. Brandon repeatedly apologized to his brother. Perhaps all his efforts were to want them to get along. Tom now understood everything. He tapped out. The two brothers hugged each other tightly. The father below saw this scene and shed tears. At this time, the victory was no longer important to them, because both of them knew how to forgive and return together. It seems that this is a beautiful ending for a previously unhappy family. The movie ends here. What do you think about this movie? Let others know your opinion in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next videos.